Hello students, welcome to the session of Social and Political Life. Today we are on lesson number 1, that is on equality. Now we know that in the eye of government, each and everybody is equal. Whether a person is poor or rich or the person is handicapped, in the eye of, according to the Indian Constitution, each and everybody is equal. There is no discriminations in them. So this chapter is about equality and what are the measures taken up by the Indian Constitutions by keeping in mind about the equality. Now let's start. See, there are pictures of people standing in a line. So let us read and understand. Manjit Kaur, a teacher. Tejas Singh, trader. Girish Rao, student. Kanta Devi, domestic worker. Sujata, domestic worker. Abdul Rahim, artisan. Shabnam Bano, housewife. Gracie Lalang, consultant. Isaac Lelang, government officer. Ruxana Mirza, media person. Yugraj, unemployed. Ashok Jain, industrialist. So see, we can clearly clearly understand that people standing here has different kind of professions. Some are teacher, some are student, some are trader, some are housewife, some are domestic workers, some are industrialist and government officer also. Now for what they are standing, let us read and find out. On election day, Kanta and her friend Sujata are waiting to cast their votes. So, for what these persons are waiting for? They are waiting to cast their votes. Isn't it good, Suja, that we can all vote as equal citizens of our country? Even Jain Sahib is standing in the line with us. Yes. Go on, Kanta, it's your turn now. I will vote for the candidate who has promised to bring pipe water to our area. We will see you later, Kanta. Yes, Namaste Sahib. Gudiya has been running fever and I have to take her to the hospital. But I will have to finish the work at Sahib's house first and ask for some advance. Now at home. Here, have some of this. You will feel better. And when I get back in the evening, we will go to the hospital. Okay? It's no wonder that Guriya falls ill often. The basti is never cleaned. So, for what they are standing? All the people are standing for casting their votes. And the government will not tell the people to stand according to their class. Each and every people who belong from poor, who belong from rich, who are not educated also, everybody has to stand in one line and cast the vote because the rules are passed by the government. So you see Kanta, a domestic worker. The line where she is standing, even her honor is also standing where she works. Her honor is also standing. Who is the honor here? Ashok Jain. And what he is? He is an industrialist. So he saw Kanta and then he said, okay, later on I'll see you. Then Kanta, what she was later on when she was about to cast a vote, She told in her mind that I will vote to that person only who has promised to bring a pipe water in their area. So it's like that only. Whatever whatever problem we face in the area, in our area, we go and discuss with our gram panchayat, isn't it, a sarpanch. We come and we go to the sarpanch, and then we discuss our problems with him, then he solves our problem. So when the election times begins, the people who promises that they will bring the pipeline, they will look after the electricity problem, etc. So to that person only we cast our votes, isn't it? So same likewise, Kanta also, she was casting vote to that person only who has promised to bring a pipe water in her area. Now later on, Kanta, she was narrating, or she was discussing with her friend that Guria, her daughter was very ill, and after she finishes her work in Jain Sahib's house, she will take her daughter to the hospital. So in the next part we can see that, in the next picture we can see that she was telling her daughter that to have a drink, to have a cup of health drink, and then afterwards when she comes from the work in the evening, she will take her to the hospital. Then while going to Jane Sahib's house, she saw that her area is very dirty, and she was thinking in her mind that my daughter will never be okay. Why? Because of the dirty area. Next, make sure to do the corners properly. Here's your advice, Kanta, but don't make a habit of it. No, madam. Then that evening, just few more minutes, Betty. Jain Madam and Jain Sahib may stand in line to vote, but they never have to do it when their children are sick. So by reading this, we can easily understand the problem which is faced by Kanta, because she is just a domestic worker and she will not be able to go to a private hospital. She has to go to a government hospital in order to treat her daughter, and she has to stand in line. But she was also thinking that it will not be a problem for Jain Sahib and Madam to stand in line, because they will get directly the appointment in the hospital. They don't have to stand in line in order to treat their child. See, from this story we can easily find out how people are being treated. People are being treated on their caste, on their religion also. The work they do. Since Kantabai was a domestic worker, so she used to work from houses to houses in order to earn her livelihood, and it was not possible for her to go to a private hospital, because we know that how much the cost is for the private hospitals. But people who are very rich, easily they can go to the private hospitals and they can treat their children. So here we can see the caste, how it has made a difference. Discrimination is there because she belongs from a lower caste. So that's why her work is also very the work which she do is not recognized or appreciated by the people who belong from the higher caste. Now let's move on to the topic on equality. India is a democracy. We know that India is a democratic country. In the class 6 book, we looked at the key elements of democratic government. So you might have read when you were in class 6, you might have read about democratic government. What are the key elements? These include people's participation, the resolutions of conflict, and equality and justice. Equality is a key feature of democracy and influences all aspects of its functioning. In this chapter, you will read more about equality, why it is, what it is, why it is important in a democracy, and whether or not everyone is equal in India. Let's begin by looking at Kanta's story. We have already read the story of Kanta. Now let's start with the next topic. Equal right to vote. We know that India is a democratic country and each and everybody has a right to vote. No matter of whether the person is poor, whether the person is rich, educated or not, wealthy or not, each and every person has the right to vote. And that right is known as the universal adult franchise. The story above begins with Kanta standing in line to cast her vote. Look again at the various people who were standing in line with her. So we saw that along with Kanta, there is person who is industrialist. There was a person who was a media person. There was a person who is a lawyer. Then also trader. And then housewife, artisans. Kanta recognized her employer Ashok, Jain and Chote Lal, his neighbor, her neighbor. In a democratic country like India, all adults, irrespective of what religion they belong to, how much education they have had, what caste they are, or whether they are rich or poor, are allowed to vote. So, being India a democratic country, irrespective of what religion, what caste, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, everybody has the right to vote. And that right, this as you have already read in the class book, is called universal adult franchise. So this is known as a universal adult franchise, where if a person is 18 plus and above, he or she has the right to vote and is the essential aspects of all democracies. The idea of universal adult franchise is based on the idea of equality because it states that every adult in a country, irrespective of their wealth and the communities she or he belongs to, has one vote. Kanta is excited to vote and happy that she is equal to all of the others because each of them has one vote. But as her day goes on, Kanta becomes less certain about what this equality really means. So after voting also, Kanta was like, when she went for voting, she was very happy because she was standing on that line where other people who are very rich, who are well employed, all these persons are standing in her line itself. But one thing always strikes in her mind, that what is this equality? If we are voting by standing in one line, then what does equality means? Because she might think that she is a domestic worker. She works from houses to houses. She cleans the utensils. Then she washes clothes. She makes food for others. So this means that she is not equal. So let us see exactly what does it mean. What she was thinking. What is it that makes Kanta unsure? Let's take a look at a day in her life. She lives in a slum and has a drain behind her house. Her daughter is sick. But she cannot take the day off from work because she needs to borrow money from her employers to take her child to the doctor. Her job as a domestic helper tires her out, and finally she ends her day by again standing in a long line. This line in front of the government hospital is unlike the one in the morning because most of the people standing in it are poor. So now in the evening, she went to the hospital and now she is standing in a line. But now it is not for casting vote. She is standing to in order she is standing for the treatment of a child, of a daughter who is very sick. But if a person is very rich, do you think that that person will stand in a line? Of course not. That person will not stand in a line. Instead, he will appoint he will appoint and he will do the appointment. He will take an appointment of the doctor, and according to the appointment time and date, he will visit the doctor for treating in order to treat her or his child. But when it comes to the poor people, they have to stand in line hours and hours, and there is full of rush in the government hospitals. So we can easily find out the life of the poor people, how difficult their life is. Next, other kinds of equality. What are the other kinds of equality? Kanta is one of many people who live in democratic India and who have the right to vote, but whose daily living and working conditions are far from equal. So Kanta, like other, she is also living in a democratic India and she has the right to vote. But when it comes to her living, she has to work hard. She has to work hard in order to look after her family because she belongs from a poor family. Apart from being poor, people in India experiences inequality in different ways. So not only people who belong from the poor family, they have to struggle like Kanta. There are many people who has to struggle for different types of things which takes place in the form of inequality. Let us see what this means by reading the two stories given below. Each of these is based on real incidents in people's life and reflects the different kinds of inequalities that exist in India. So we are going to read the two stories below, which shows inequality in India. One of the major common forms of inequality in India is a caste system. So the caste system, lower caste, higher caste, middle caste, the caste system. If you belong from a lower caste, then you cannot visit the people who belong from the higher caste. You cannot even attend any functions which are being organized by the higher caste people. And the higher caste people also, they will not go to the lower caste people's functions. So it still exists in India. No doubt many schemes were taken up by the government of India, but still this caste system exists. If you live in rural India, your caste identity is something that you probably learned or experienced very young. So rural India, if you stay in some village area, interior place, which is very different from the city, so the people over there are treated very unequally. People are not even they are not even allowed to go to school. Especially girls were not allowed to go to schools. Girls were told to do the household works, to get married and get settled in their family. Next If you live in urban India, some of you might think that people no longer believe in caste. So urban area and cities or towns, if you live in cities or towns, we are always told that this caste system is nothing, everybody is equal. But just look at this matrimonial shown from a leading English newspaper and you will see how important the issue of caste continues to be in the minds of highly educated urban Indians. No doubt, the people who stays in towns and cities, they don't discriminate in the caste. But when it comes to marriage, do you think that people who belong from higher caste, they will get married to a lower caste girl? No. There, the caste system gives rise. Such example is here, a matrimonial ad. Alliance invited for 32/MMS/5 foot 4 inch fair beautiful girl. So this was the ad of the matrimonial for marriage. So they want the girl first. They have given the details of girl, 32 age, 5 and a 4. What is the height? 5 foot 4 inch. Very fair and beautiful girl. Working in IT company Mumbai from BE or BMA boy. Working in Mumbai or abroad from IT industry. Caste no bar. SC or ST excuses. Send BHM must. Next is proof qualified beautiful tall girl for Gupta boy, 28 years, 6 feet, CA working MNC Texas, USA, whose salary is 80k. Wow. Next is a Tamil Brahmin. Iyengar groom, 1981 born. Then Netru Vakshapya Gotram. So Swati star, 180 centimeter tall fair. So this was the ad of the matrimony. So here the caste systems we can see and how much educated they want the bride or groom to be. In fact they describe the looks of the boy as well as the girl and also the qualifications. So in this we can see the caste system arises. It gives rise to the caste system. People who stays in the urban areas, in towns and cities, they don't want to get married to the people who belong to the lower caste. They want highly educated girl or boy working in an MNC company who is tall, dark and handsome, who is fair, beautiful. So when we go to the matrimonial side, we can see all those things. So here the caste system arises. Now let us read a story about the experiences of a Dalit child attending school. You have already read about Dalits in the class 6 book. Dalit is a term that the so-called lower caste used to address themselves. So who were Dalits? They were known as the lower caste people. Dalit means broken, and by using this word, lower caste are pointing to how they were and continue to be seriously discriminated against. So Dalit, who belong from the lower caste, they were discriminated to a very extent. They were not even allowed to go to a school. They were instead told to do the works like a slave.